Hello everyone, this is Naveen Chabra and I welcome you to the session Embracing Cloud with HP Software. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you who are joining from various different places, and I really appreciate you taking your time out for this quick webinar on Embracing Cloud with HP Software. I am the Vivit New Delhi chapter leader. That's myself, Naveen, and on behalf of myself and Jim, we welcome you to this session. We had two presenters for the day. That's myself and Sanjeev Kohli, who is the business manager for Cloud and Automation Solutions from HP Software. Unfortunately, because of the last-minute decision, Sanjeev has not been able to make it for this session, but I would continue to lead the discussion along with my other colleagues, Stephanie and Martijn. For all of you to know that the session is being recorded, and the recordings would be available to all of you post the session. Stephanie or someone from the Vivit team would be sending out a note across on once the recording is available for all of you. We encourage you to have your questions put up in the questions pane, and we would also have a dedicated time at the end of the webinar for the Q&A session. On your screens, I'm sure you would be looking at the webinar control panel. You would have the questions in the chat box available for you to quickly put across your questions, and we would make all efforts to answer your questions as much as we can today. And if you're not able to answer, we would certainly like to come back to you with our questions, with our answers to your questions. I pass it over to Martijn for a quick connect on what Vivit is. He will take you through Vivit, and post that I will take this up with the entire session.
Yes, thank you very much thank you very much, Naveen, for the time to shortly introduce Vivit. Welcome, everyone. Just to talk a little bit about Vivit, so you know and are aware of what Vivit does. Vivit is an independent HP software user group. It was already started 20 years ago under the name OpenView Forum International. In those days, we also organized events like the HP Discover. It was later on rebranded to Vivit because we are now covering all HP software products and solutions, and not only the OpenView ones. Vivit is nowadays governed by a 9-member board of directors, of which I am one of the board of directors, responsible for all the special interest groups and chapters worldwide. And more important, all those board members are volunteers, as well as the leaders who are running the chapters and special interest groups. At this moment, we have more than 14,000 members worldwide. We run more than 73 chapters across 22 countries, and chapters are communities which are locally based, most of the time hosting local events as well as virtual events. And we run also 15 special interest groups nowadays, and those groups are more related to specific HP product portfolio. So, for example, it might be a product like or a product set like ALM, or testing, but it might also be more of a subject related to the IT changes like cloud building or business intelligence. At this moment, our members are growing fast, particularly in the areas of the EMEAs as well as APJ, and hopefully more and more members will be joining us from the region of India very soon. Further, it's interesting to know that half of our members are practitioners and half of them are decision makers now, and that relates again to the different kind of special interest groups we have. We have interest groups more related to decision makers, as well as interest groups more related to application owners and application configuration members. Most importantly, Vivit is a platform in which HP partners and customers will relate and are being able to have a conversation and share knowledge and practice. Could we go to the next slide so that I can tell a little bit more about Vivit and the goals of Vivit? So Vivit is a worldwide organization there for practitioners and decision makers which are using HP products. The goals of our members goals of our members are to gain best practices and share knowledge, but it's also to tune into future IT developments and trying to relate those future IT developments to day-to-day practice and usage of HP products, solutions and services. Vivit, again, is also a perfect opportunity for members as well as leaders to advance your career and build your network. And last but not least, most of the time, the interesting conversations going on in chapter and special interest groups are also being very important input for HP as feedback for current roadmaps, but also input for future roadmaps on services and solutions. And this relates to the 3 pillars of Vivit, which are community, education, and advocacy. Vivit has more than 100 customer and partner volunteers who we call leaders, and those used also Vivit to advance their careers. They are running local chapters as well as special interest groups, and they organize discussion forums, blogs, webinars, local meetings, virtual meetings. So being a leader is also an extremely good way to advance your career. Last but not least, could you provide me the last sheet, Naveen? What I would like to also for you to do, join us as a member from Vivit, but also spread the news. We're still looking for growing chapters and special interest groups in India, and we are very thankful of Naveen and Sanjeev hosting this session today. And if you would like to be a member, or if you know others, peers or colleagues who would like to be a member and also start sharing experiences and building careers, please join. This information will also be available as part of the slide set of this presentation and session, which will be available later on. And if you would like to join as a leader brainstorming about future event topics and themes, please let us know, and we will contact you and provide you the proper infrastructure, the network, and contacting other leaders to make it happen. Thank you very much for your attention, and hopefully you will enjoy this session. Thank you very much for your time, Naveen. Back to you on this very interesting topic you would like to talk about.
Thanks, Martin. And I hope we are all ready to kind of take off into this interesting discussion on embracing cloud with HP software. Just to share with you, of late you would have, almost every one of you would be realizing in your personal as well as professional lives that we are seeing a new style or a change in how IT is being, how IT is serving the requirements of business, and how IT is being viewed up by business to serve the business needs they have. You would also see through how mobile, social, big data, and the cloud, which are the new areas in the IT domain per se, are changing the scheme of things in the way IT is consumed and the way IT is looked upon as the enabler for business. I put forward some of the interesting numbers for your understanding here. These have been well researched, and before putting it to presentation here, you may know that every 60 seconds there are over 100,000 tweets which are happening, and similar numbers which are put up by Facebook, by the instant messaging solutions, by Google search, so on and so forth. I'm sure each one of you would realize that these numbers have grown at a much faster pace than the IT was, right? And these numbers are bound to grow at a much faster rate. We would see that every 2 years these numbers are going to double, right? If you look at these numbers and the way these would grow, we take a step back and internalize how are these numbers being supported, because every of these technology, every of these consumption by the customers as well as the enterprises is dependent on how the information technology environment in those respective organizations are supporting the growth they are facing. Right? So that's an interesting concept, that's an interesting area for one to look at. And I'm sure this would be one of the foundation for us to understand how cloud and the related technologies are supporting such business expansions, which we are seeing very rapidly growing in the market today. Right? So keeping this in mind, if you were to just look upon the growth which business is seeing, right? The customers at the same time are finding a challenge in front of them in terms of how to innovate, at a speed which is accepted by the businesses, which is supported by IT, so on and so forth, right? IT is also looking at an enhanced agility to serve the business requirements. Similarly, business looks at IT, to be agile enough to serve the needs which they have. And overall, as a business, everyone, the CIOs of the organization look at improved financial management so that they become competitive in the marketplace. They're better effective in serving their customer needs. While these are the customer challenges, right, I am just taking a step, I'm shooting this discussion off into the discussion towards IT, where you would look at how, while there are these challenges, IT has been prevalent over the last 30, 40, 50 years, and how IT has been serving those business needs. If you look upon the gone by days and the years, you would realize that the traditional IT, which is the IT, as we see in some of the organizations still prevalent, we see that that IT has been dedicated, it has been dedicated to a particular project or a particular line of business. The services have been dependent on a set of homogeneous environment, and the business has almost all the times been complaining or demanding flexibility from IT, which was not the case in the gone by days. And in the current state of affairs, we look at various form of changes, metamorphized IT, so to say. This is IT is available in the way it has been happening in the last many years. It is available in multiple forms, in a private cloud, in a public cloud, or in a managed cloud form, as is supplied by various OEMs, various technology vendors, so on and so forth in the marketplace, which is essentially leading out to a state of confusion still, because each of the vendor or each of the OEM or each of the service provider is coming out with their own set of architecture, their own set of management and security frameworks, right? And along the same lines, we also look at the development environments, application development environments, which are also on the same lines of a particular vendor-specific technology or a OEM or a service provider's model. If you look at all those complexities or the challenges which are forming up with the invent of these disparate technologies, architectures, so on and so forth, you would look at how a particular IT department in an organization, in an enterprise, would be finding itself in a tough space to decide how to move further. However, at HP, we look upon the future state as the state where we would be driving towards a common architecture of the services for all kind of different IT flavors of the platforms, be it a traditional IT or a private cloud deployment within an enterprise by the local IT, or a managed cloud services which the enterprises would consume, or the private cloud framework or an environment which the consumers, the end users, or the enterprises would consume. We are working upon a theme of flexibility and portability of the IT services across various domains. And with all that, the issues, the challenges, the complexity which we may look upon in because of the invent of and the technology supported by various different OEMs and vendors, we look upon the future state of technology with few guiding principles for us, which are listed in front of you, which is about a unified management for any kind of an IT deployment. You may have an option to look upon this picture in multiple forms, right? If you look upon this picture from a consumer perspective, you will find that it notifies that a consumer can consume, or an end user can consume, an IT service in a fashion where it is abstracted from the user, so much so that a service could be hosted out of a traditional IT environment, or a private, or a managed, or a public cloud, but it is not known to the end user, because the end user is focused upon consuming IT as a service for his business requirements. Let me just put up a very small example here for your understanding, ease of understanding. A marketing department for a line of function or line of business wants to host a campaign for its targeted customers. Right? The marketing application, if you will, right, could be hosted out of any place, right? Be it a traditional IT environment or any form of cloud. What the marketing department is looking forward to is a campaign environment with which they can reach out to the customers, they can promote their business, right? They do not care where that is coming from, and that is the level of abstraction which, when business wants, is a guiding principle for us to develop our solutions and offerings. You could also look upon this picture from a perspective of operations and management, which the IT teams are doing day in and day out. They become a service broker. I would touch upon these aspects in the slides to come as well, but just to highlight so that we are in tune and we're talking the same wavelength. This picture could be viewed from a service provider's operations and maintenance perspective also, that you have a single set of platform to manage and monitor and control your IT services being provisioned from various different set of environments without worrying for a specific siloed tool or a siloed management environment to cater to the needs coming from a particular set of environment which needs to be managed, right? Which again, from an organizational perspective, eases out a lot of challenges, which would come on the people, on the processes, and more so the organizational issues, which are very, very significant when it comes to taking a business decision for a particular cause. So while we are talking about the guiding principles, which are the lamppost, if you will, for us in building our solutions, I would also quickly like to touch base upon and highlight that there are various steps, and it's a journey. Any enterprise would want to move towards cloud. It would be a journey, and it entirely depends upon the current state of an enterprise in the journey to cloud. And we also very well recognize that any organization who is not even standardized or consolidated the IT environment cannot be at a level where they would offer a self-service infrastructure to their end users. And with the analysts in the industry, we have come up with this framework or with this developmental plan for our customers, which they could imbibe in their plans, in their in their journey towards adopting a cloud solution. And hence, the title of my presentation here is also about embracing the cloud, and we are there in the journey to take our customers adopt the cloud solutions with HP Software Solutions. Now, if you look at how and how is a particular IT environment being managed today, based on our experience working with the largest of the large enterprises in the industry today, we find that the IT environment has been they are holding back because of the inherent challenges they face in managing their environment, because they have hundreds and thousands of servers, the operating system, variety of operating system applications, and so on and so forth to manage. And the typical management activities which are highlighted here for your perusal are taking an enormous amount of time for them to be able to focus and dedicate their time and effort on developmental plans, right? But while that is a challenge, right, that the challenge needs to be overcome, because these issues need to be taken care of before any organization can move and can plan and move towards cloud. So if the organizations are wanting to come up with developmental plans and look beyond the regular operations and maintenance activities, management activities, in which over 70% of their time and costs are gone, they would certainly need to look at a state which is desired as a fundamental layer or a foundation layer from which they could start moving up towards the chain in the cloud. And this is where we put across the desired state as a state where all of these O&M issues, the management issues, are taken care of in an automated way, which is taking much less time than the savings in terms of time and money could be as high as 80 to 85%, right? So, and these are the foundation layers for any organization to look towards and develop plans of moving towards cloud. While we're talking about these capabilities, let's also look at what the enterprise customers look forward to. They look forward to an improved business over time and an agile IT environment which can cater to the business requirements, so that business can keep up with the projected business growth the top management or the executives are looking forward to. The IT environment must be more responsive to the line of business. We are seeing across the industry that there is a reduction in the IT budgets over and over, year on year. And as time is flying by, we are also looking at something which is becoming prevalent in almost all size of organizations, be it an SMB or an enterprise. It is a shadow IT which is getting formed up, because end users or the consumers, they are themselves reaching out to the cloud service providers in the marketplace and consuming those services. End of all, the business is looking at growth, and one of the fundamental pillars for that is new business opportunities. And new business opportunities can only be supported in today's environment with the underlying IT infrastructure, right? So if we look at how cloud solutions could cater to those requirements, it is all the more imperative for us to understand what are the user requirements versus what IT would look at to be agile, flexible, and scalable enough to cater to the requirements which are coming from the users, right? Here is a quick table in front of you to look at, and I want your attention here because this forms again a pillar for us to continue our discussion in the slides to come, which is the user expects in a cloud environment that the self-service portal is provided for ordering services, a catalog of services which are relevant to my line of business as a consumer or an end user. it must offer the services with some predefined capabilities, and I must be able to consume a service as fast as I can, and so on and so forth, right? If we look upon how IT would need to, or what requirements IT would have to cater to the requirements the business and the users are coming up with, they would need a ton of these capabilities in order to serve those requirements. We look at a fully automated environment whereby the operational expenditure is reduced to as much as it can, a scalable platform, and that's in any way a foundation of a cloud platform. The IT must be able to support any kind of a service, be it infrastructure as a service, a platform, or a software as a service to those end users, depending on what these users' requirements are. And if we look at it from an IT service management practice per se, this is all the more important because IT must be offering those services which are in demand and must be retiring the services which are not in demand, and hence a continuous tab on the usage of the services is also required. A very good or a very stringent demand from the IT is about integration with the existing tools, processes, which have been put in place in the organization. It must be able to manage the entire environment through a common set of platform and tools. The environment must any which ways offer multi-tenancy, because as a marketing person, I want to have those services which are relevant to my line of business, not accepting services or not wanting services which a finance person must have, so on and so forth, right? And the list goes on and on and on. Now, how could these services have been vet? And I share with you some of the examples here. One of our global financial services customer, they have been running with these objectives of increased utilization in their IT data center, acceleration of time to market of the way IT is able to serve the business, and hence accelerate time to market. With whatever objectives they have been running with, using HP solution, they have been able to reach out with the results which are highlighted here, and I also referred to in one of my last slides. Utilization grew up, and with automation, the capabilities and the time required for operation and maintenance reduced by 80% plus. The server environment, they were with increased utilization, they were able to retire almost around 500 servers which were returned or reclaimed back. And I also take up this example of this IT service provider which was also running with similar challenges, and they had their objective defined like this: create an environment which is scalable to support the international growth. So if a business is looking at growing beyond the geography which they are currently in, they look forward to an environment, they look forward to the IT environment which can help them go reach out to the market as fast as they can. And that's what happened with the solution which comes from HP. And before I move further into the solution description, let me also quickly share with you how does IDC recognize various different cloud solution vendors and the cloud management software industry. There are multiple players in the industry today. I would want to highlight and expect your focus here that it's only HP with that large bubble. The bubble basically reflects the size of the business each organization has, and there is a plus or a minus sign which highlights the capabilities and a mix of capabilities and strategies moving further down the time. And you would realize here that HP is the only player which is marked with a plus along with that the size of the bubble which HP holds in the marketplace today in the cloud management software space. I hope this is kind of making sense, and the speed is kind of amenable to all of you. With all that introduction of what is required, what is the expectations of the business and the IT, I take this opportunity to introduce what is called as HP Cloud Service Automation, and for various different customers, the customers using HP Cloud Solution has been able to achieve these results, which are highlighted here, like reduction in the service deployment time and increased server utilization, so on and so forth. Leveraging that comprehensive unified management, which I talked about as the guiding principle for us to development those cloud solutions, and an open and extensible architecture, which is again one of the guiding principles here in terms of building our solutions and serving our customers with the requirements they have. I can take a quick stop here just to check if there is any question, and if not, I would move further. Stephanie, can I ask your help here if there is any question in the question box?
Hi, Naveen. There are no questions at this time.
Okay. So while in the sequence of putting across how the HP Cloud Service Automation as a solution is serving the customer needs, which I've touched upon in a couple of slides, I would like to take this opportunity to even share with you what are those basic capabilities which are forming up and are enabling us to cater to our customer requirements. And I introduce the Cloud Service Automation as the platform which has the inherent capability to be an enterprise-grade cloud service broker platform. And here is how it happens. It has a unified and a comprehensive service management platform, a service lifecycle platform as well, which offers a self-service portal, which I talked about earlier as well. And this has the capability to be to include various different providers, as we call it, and a provider is a service provisioning element or a service provisioning platform from where the services would be consumed. Now, using this picture, I can share with you that Cloud Service Automation as a solution has that capability to include multiple providers under its umbrella and be the single platform for all the cloud services consumption. Any user would be able to order a cloud service using the single sign-on portal which he gets. And from the management perspective, the administrative team would be able to manage the entire cloud services using the single management platform. I take your attention to here to look into these various cloud providers or service providers, if you will. And a provider could be a provider running, VMware environment. The services could be provisioned through, say, Savis, or an environment which is running OpenStack KVM platform. It could also consume services and be a broker if the services are running under Amazon. The services could be running under the Microsoft virtualization platform, or it could be coming through the HP Cloud Services, which is another cloud vendor in the market today. Now, I also take your attention to quickly talk about and relate to what the IT requirements were in one of the slides which I presented earlier. It was all about the ease of ease of use when it comes to ordering services, from the portal. So from a user perspective, it would be very easy if the services are categorized and are offered through a catalog, so that the user can drill down quickly to a service which he or she would desire to use. And that's where the catalog, a rich catalog of services, comes into place, and which is basically the front end or the interface for the business users, for the users who are going to consume those services. You may look through the picture also here, right, that there are various sections like the dashboard, the catalog, the request, and the subscription, which is this is an interface for the cloud subscriber, right? He has a ton of services which he is entitled to go and request for, and this also highlights various different cost elements which could be associated to a particular service, so that the user knows what kind of a service he intends to use, what is the cost as on date for that service, and he can go and choose and consume that service accordingly. So that's a perspective from the user side, which the IT needs to support and serve with. There's another element of management, of building those services, which again IT is responsible for, and this is where the responsibility to IT comes, which is about building up those services in an easy to use form. Here comes what is called as a service designer, a graphical service designer, which works in a, if you will, in a drag and drop manner, wherein the administrator can quickly pull up those service elements. A service element could be as simple as a VM, as a storage element, a network, or an application, which comprise a particular service. And through this picture, I'm sure you would be able to relate that a particular service is easily categorized with a service map here, if you will, and you can find out the relation between various elements which form up a particular service. All that is made very easy to use by the advanced tools which help the administrators or the service designer design a service and add those services to the service catalog. It is also about offering the services to the users based on the kind of role the users are serving in the organization. So IT is mandated today to have, while they are mandated to have a service portal, a self-service catalog, it is also a requirement for them to serve with, which is to offer a user with the services for the role they are serving. And hence the multi-tenancy and the role-based access control kind of requirements come into picture. Those could very well be served by offering a role-based access by integrating along with, say for example, an LDAP or an Active Directory kind of an implementation within the organization, which I'm sure would be prevalent, right? Or it could be a custom login plan which can be implemented along with, say, the CSA, the Cloud Service Automation. The users, again, I have very purposefully put across a picture along with the text so that it is very easy for all of you to comprehend what is being talked about. So the users here who belong to various different organizations or the BUs within an enterprise, they get to see the service catalog to which they are entitled to. And using cloud service automation, the IT team, the cloud management team could also build up a global catalog. They could have multiple catalogs within an organization. They could also enforce an approval policy either for a particular catalog or for a particular service element, which is required to be offered to the customers. It could also enable an access control for each catalog or a catalog item. Looking further with into providing the customers with a highly scalable and highly available architecture, cloud service automation as a solution has been designed in such a way it could offer it could be deployed in a HA manner, and here is a quick snapshot of that. I'm not going to go much in detail on this slide, but this is just for your understanding and reference. The kind of requirements, if you were to just take a look back on one of the earlier slides, IT is also responsible to manage compliance within the organization, and cloud by no means would be an exception for the IT teams here, just for the simple reason that while they are becoming the brokers of the services to be offered to the end users or the consumers, the IT would need to ensure they are running in a compliant manner, and ensuring compliance for the cloud environment is an increased uphill task, for the simple reason that the cloud services could be offered from various different platforms, from various different places, from various different providers within an enterprise or even beyond an enterprise, and hence keeping a compliance check becomes all the more important, number one, and mandatory and a cumbersome task at the same time. Using the capabilities coming through the cloud service automation, the IT team would have a capability to enforce the compliance, not just in a static manner, but also in an ongoing manner by forming what is called as a policy definition. It could be put into control by audits and change logs. The solution, as on date, has the capability to offer and meet the mandatory regulatory requirements, so to name here the PCI, the SOX, and the HIPAA. Not to mention, not to leave mentioning this point that the solution also has the capability to do automated remediation, just so that you would want your IT teams to focus on the tasks which are important in nature and future looking, and not just bogged down with the compliance issues. The solution offers an automated remediation capability as well. Stephanie, are we going well in time? Are we behind schedule?
Yeah, you have you have 15 minutes, so you're
great. Great. So thanks for that. So I look further and share with you. When we're talking about the tasks which IT is responsible for, yet another task for IT is to ensure the services performance and availability. It is again much like the compliance piece. IT is responsible by themselves to manage, monitor, control the services availability, performance, and it becomes all the more cumbersome for IT to execute on this task, because of the same reasons that cloud services are being procured from various different sources, be it within the organization or outside the physical confines of that organization. It becomes an uphill task, and here comes in the capabilities through the cloud service automation solution, which allows a real-time visibility into all the IT services deployed in production and in use, whereby the solution manages, monitors offers a bottoms-up approach in terms of viewing services availability, as well as also offers a top-down approach which is more so important for the top management and the executives to look at. It also offers this proactive alerting and notification by means of monitoring those workload and the virtual infrastructure which is deployed maybe in a remote site, a managed cloud environment or a public cloud environment. Out of the box, you can say that it is capable of offering those monitoring, management, performance, and availability capabilities if the services are deployed across any of the service providers, the cloud service providers. Just name here, it is mentioned about the HP Cloud Services and the Amazon EC2. I would not go much into this slide, move past this. So the tasks, again, I'm coming back to the same old thought which I've mentioned, many a times in this whole presentation. It is about relating to the tasks which IT is responsible for in an organization. And with the acceptance of the cloud solutions in the within an IT and enterprise, management of the IT environment becomes an uphill task again. And this is where with the HP Cloud Service Automation, we have a promise to all our customers and our partners in the industry that we simplify your IT management tasks, be it again deployed via a private cloud or a public cloud or a managed or a traditional IT environment. We offer through HP Cloud Service Automation an open extensible architecture. I can share more details about what an open and extensible architecture means, but that's the crux for us in bringing our solutions to the marketplace, right? It offers comprehensive unified management which encompasses all the automation capabilities, the performance, availability, compliance, and security requirements which the IT has to manage. And with Cloud Service Automation, the capability it offers it across all IT environments, traditional private cloud, a managed cloud, or a public cloud, right? Now, simplification becomes, the management tasks become simplified if the IT teams have a single management platform or a framework using which they would manage all the services. And that's where the common tool set comes in very handy to manage all the services coming in from various different providers. So for all of you, those who may look to have a quick functional view of the Cloud Service Automation portfolio, it is for your perusal here. Maybe I can take a half-a-minute break and all of you could read through. It is very simple to and easy to comprehend. You have a cloud subscriber portal on top, the APIs which connect with the service catalog, an approval management framework, a platform, a subscription management. Down there, it is pulling up all the resources from the infrastructure or the application elements which form part of all the cloud services. There are these graphical service designer, which is capable of, which helps the administrators build up or the designers build up additional services, new services, so on and so forth. I would have a 30-second break here for you to view through this slide and kind of invite that. Okay, I move further. So this is something very dear to my heart. You know, as I can share with you all, this is my experience that any specific project in an organization is dependent on how good the execution plan is and how rigorously is that followed. Same thing applies to the adoption of a cloud solution within an enterprise today, and I can for sure share that with HP Cloud Service Automation. While it is a solution, the execution plan is very, very important, and HP offers our services, the services to the customers who would want the services to build, deploy, and manage the cloud service automation platform, which would anyway, you know, drive them towards the journey towards the cloud. Right? Not going much into each and every element here, but the point is, the point I want to drive your mind is that HP offers services across almost all the locations in worldwide, all the countries, all cities, major cities, you know, where you know, it would be important for the customers to drive their business growth. Right. Again, something you know, for your quick reference while you get these slides, but I'll move past these sections. Yeah, and with this slide, I'm kind of coming to a logical end of my presentation. I would like to sum this up for you in a quick manner. The HP Cloud Service Automation offers what we call as a highly automated service lifecycle management platform for hybrid public and private cloud environment. It offers a comprehensive unified management platform for enterprises to build within the organization. It offers an open and extensible architecture. I think I can take a quick 30 seconds to explain what this extensible means. On the journey towards cloud, you would realize that the enterprises, when they start up, they would not start the whole cloud project in a big bang approach. They would start small. You know, majority of the customers would start small. They would taste the, you know, they would want to taste how it works, and then grow big. This is where the solution, you know, basis its fundamental architecture in the framework, offers that extensibility capability. So you start small with maybe a private cloud deployment or consumption of a public cloud service within your environment, right? And then extend upon that platform to include a hybrid or a broking capability as well, right? That's what it means by an open and extensible architecture. We don't block you with the solution. The customers are not blocked. It's not a lock-in platform. It's an open platform for you, the customers, to adopt and reap the benefits. I also suggest you to possibly go and look at this website, hp.com/go/CSA. Very, very easy to maybe remember as well. So this is a quote from NNIT, which is an IT service provider. Having used cloud service automation, this is what they have to say. With HP CSA, we have a strong provisioning suite, a strong automation suite, and this is what cloud is all about. I offer you my thanks to have taken your time and attend this session. I leave it back to Stephanie for any question and answers. and I'll be able to I'll be glad to answer anything which comes your way in understanding cloud service automation solutions.
Thank you.
Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Naveen. I've got some questions for you, driven by the question panel. First of all, one of the first questions is, will HP be offering this as a public cloud, which will be deployed at HP data center, or will it be available as a private cloud?
Okay, so I think a very relevant question in this world of cloud, where things need to get demystified. Cloud service automation as a solution helps customers to build their own cloud environment, an environment which can encompass a private cloud, an environment which can also consume services from various different cloud providers, right? That's for enterprises. At the same time, cloud service automation as a platform, as a solution stack, has the capability to offer our service provider customers to build a public cloud environment. I hope this kind of answers. In case there is any further query to the way I have and what I have responded back with, I would love to hear that and kind of bring that further clarification over to you.
Yes, great. There's also one question which is more about integrations with the cloud service automation, which is, how does the cloud service automation integrate with Service Manager, for example, to create request tickets, and its internal CMDB, for example, to create or update CIs? Are those integrations available? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so I would kind of try to break this into two questions for easy comprehension, if you allow me that. The first thing is about integration with service management, right? Now, as a solution, cloud service automation has the orchestration capability, and the orchestration basically connects various different management tools in a fashion that IT services, right, do not need to change hands physically, right? The processes which have been laid out by the organization, by the IT, the enterprise, are followed automatically with no manual intervention. Having said that, there are times when you need to communicate back with your service manager kind of a deployment or a service desk, be it an HP service desk or a non-HP service desk. The management platform need to communicate with the service desk both ways. That means go to the service desk, tell to raise an incident, a problem, or a request, come back, and also wait till the time service manager comes back and tells that yes, the request is over and here is the response, so on and so forth. Now, for CSA as a solution, it has the orchestration capability built in to connect with other management tools, and Service Manager is one of those which it can integrate with. I hope that answers the first part of the question. The second part of the question was around UCMDB, right? Right. I think the question was not clear to me enough, but let me take a attempt to answer, right? And my understanding of the question was, how does cloud service automation support building up the UCMDB?
Yes, especially in creating.
That's my understanding of the question. If this is not the same, please do correct that.
Yes, that's about it. It's about the integration with the internal CMDB and also to focus on creating and updating CIs.
Sorry, creating the?
Creating and updating CIs in the universe CMDB system.
Okay. So the UCMDB by itself is as a solution is there to let me go to that relevant slide so it becomes easy for us to talk at the same wavelength and understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you may look upon this picture as well, which is important to understand. From a CMDB perspective, this is built after discovery of your managed environment. Now, a managed environment could be a traditional environment, it could be a cloud environment, right? Now, why it becomes more so important for any organization, an IT enterprise, to have a CMDB kind of a solution is because a cloud environment is very, very dynamic. For the IT team to take those decisions, basis, say for example, if it's a capacity planning decision which the IT has to take. The IT also needs to take something like an upgrade decision. IT needs to take a decision on, say for example, a patch management, a patch rollout. IT needs to take a decision on moving certain workload, basis the capacity requirements or the performance issues which they may be facing. Now, that's where these are the cases wherein the CMDB comes in very handy because it provides a very, very clear indication. It is a decision support system, if you will, for the IT team on various different aspects. Now, with cloud service automation, UCMDB doesn't come plugged in, right? But the point is, the point I want to drive along with this slide is that using cloud service automation and the management platform which comes along with it, it is very easy with that management platform, it is very easy for the IT teams to manage their entire environment, the services, all the services, be those services hosted out of a private cloud or a public cloud or a traditional IT environment. It is easy for them. It makes their life very, very easy in terms of using the information which is supported by UCMDB in their decision making. I don't know if this is in line with what the intent of the question was. If not so, I love to take that feedback again and try to answer with the context this question was asked.
Well, thank you very
Martin,
much.
can we move further?
I don't see any other questions coming up so far. You've answered the two questions which were put in the question box. And we've run 5 minutes over the hour, so if you want to close, that's also possible.
So great. I think this was a nice session with the support of Martijn and Stephanie. I really appreciate all the attendees who took time out and joined the session with me. The recording of the session will be shared with you soon. That's number one. And if you have any queries, my email ID is available on the Vivit website, and I look forward to your inputs, questions, and comments. And I think Stephanie would roll out a survey form with you. We look forward to your inputs, and I hope the session made sense for all of you. I would be glad to be of any further support if you will. Thanks again, and over to Stephanie and Martijn.
Well, thank you, Naveen. As Naveen stated, we will definitely post the webinar recording today and the slides to the New Delhi chapter page, and you'll be receiving an email with a link to where those are located. And thanks for joining us today, and thanks, Naveen, for your great presentation and your great introduction to our time. Have a good rest of your day.